Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's show. And in today's show, we are going to talk about receiving and what stops you from receiving. So, let me know in the comments if you are watching the replay, type in hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, and type in hashtag live if you are live with me today. So, receiving, this is like one of those really interesting topics, and this is something that actually keeps most people they uh, you know ha- struggle with this because this reality. Hi Xenia, good to have you live, because this reality is designed in a way that it cuts off our receiving. Okay, so I'd love to know from all of you guys what receiving means to you, or what does receiving, or what stops you from receiving. Just type it in the comments, and I have a whole bunch of things that I also would like to talk about, that I'm going to talk about. But it's good to have a conversation, right? So let me know in the comments what stops you from receiving. What stops you from receiving? Overthinking. Okay, that's a good one. Overthinking. So, what happens when you overthink? Let me know a little bit more in detail. Okay. So, uh, the first thing that I would say that stops your receiving is having walls and barriers around you. So, walls and barriers, like I'm sure a lot of you have heard of walls and barriers, right? So, walls and barriers are these things that we put all around us. And these walls and barriers, what we do is that we put them around us in order to protect us, right? And so the thing with walls and barriers is that not only do they protect us from everything which is coming from outside, so we have actually put them to protect us from quote unquote things that are going to harm us. So not only do they protect us from things that are going to harm us, but they also stop everything else that is coming towards us, because they have no point of view. The thing is that my job is to stop anything from going in. And so in that way they are doing like a great job of protecting us by stopping everything that is coming in for you. Okay. And so how many walls, barriers, uh, and other structures do you have around you that are stopping you from receiving? Whatever number pops in your head, just let me know in the comments. Just to get an idea, most of the time anything that pops in your head, it's actually your awareness telling you something. Okay. And so, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to clear stuff today. And the thing that I use to clear stuff is called energetic releases. So, I'll ask you something and I'll say, okay, let us release on that. And then I keep quiet. So, in that quiet, I'm actually doing the energetic release. Okay. So, how many walls, barriers, and structures do you have around you that stop you from receiving? Okay. So, all of that, let's release on that. Okay. Now, just perceive around you. Can you still feel those walls, barriers, and structures? So sometimes these structures, they appear to me to be like cages, all kinds of weird things. Sometimes they are like cobwebs around you, so all kinds of weird things. Okay, and most of the time, if you tune into it, you will actually be aware of all these structures around you. Okay, so can you perceive these structures? And if you can perceive these structures, let's do this release once again. So all the walls, barriers, and structures around you that are stopping you from receiving, let's release on that. So Xenia says that it's also structure something like fences. Yeah, it could be fences. It could be a whole bunch of other things, right? So all the fences that you have around you that stop you from receiving, let's release on that as well. Now, also, when you have really strong points of views about something, that also stops you from receiving. Okay. So all the strong points of views that you have that are stopping you from receiving, let's release on that. So, can you identify some of the points of views that you could have that are stopping you from receiving? And if you can identify, would you like to share in the comments? Because here's the thing, when you share what your points of views are, many times what happens is that, someone might read your point of view and go, oh my God, oh yes, I have that. And then, you could read everybody else's comments and you will find a lot of those that you will say, oh yeah, I have that. Always getting to a place and people who either eat my money away or don't pay me enough for my work. It's a pattern in my life. The word that comes to me is cheating, being cheated right from my childhood. Okay, so all the patterns of cheating and being cheated that you have, let's release on that. So some of the other points of views are fear of judgment, not feeling good enough, that can't handle too much, and all of that. Okay, fabulous. So these are all points of views that you have, and you can take these points of views and you can release on these points of views. Okay. Now, I also have a lot of things written out, and I just wanted to go through some of these because some of these sometimes we actually don't think about, and these are also messing up with our receiving. Okay, so the first one that I want to talk about is refusing. Okay, so when you refuse something, you are also cutting off your receiving. right? So for example, if someone wants to contribute to you, if someone wants to gift something to you, then are you receiving that or are you refusing that? Okay, so how many of you are refusing? Like someone says, I feel embarrassed when I receive. So embarrassment is also one of that energy of of refusing. Okay, lack of self love and self confidence, again, these are all points of views and patterns that you have. Okay, so who or what are you refusing to be? Okay, that if you were to be it, would open up your receiving. Who or what are you refusing to be or do, that if you were to be or do it, would open up your receiving? Okay, so all of that, let's release on that. So who or what are you refusing to be or do, that if you were to stop refusing to be or do it, would exponentialize your receiving? So, did this open up something, this piece about refusing to be or do? Okay, did this open up something for you? So, Shaheen, who or what are you refusing to be or do, that if you were to stop refusing to be or do it, would exponentialize your receiving? So who or what are all of you refusing to be or do? What I'd love for you to do is just take a pen and paper and write down whatever comes up for you. Because here's the thing, the things that will come up are not coming from your logical mind. They're actually coming from your subconscious, your unconscious mind, where things are just not logical. Okay? So, who or what are you refusing to be or do, that if you were to stop refusing to be or do it, would exponentialize your receiving? Let me know in the comments, who or what are you refusing to be, who or and what are you refusing to be or do? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Okay. So, for example, I used to refuse to be a pushy salesperson, right? And when I actually cleared that, then I became really, really, really comfortable with promoting myself, promoting my business, and all of that. Okay. So, who or what are you refusing to be or do, that if you were to stop refusing to be or do it, would exponentialize your receiving? Refusing to be a businesswoman, refusing to be a public figure, yay, good for you. Refusing to be a princess. I tend to be picky, and so I do refuse. Okay. Okay. So, who or what are you refusing to be or do? Refusing success. A cheap woman who waits to get something from someone. Refusing to be organized and productive. Yeah. So, this is a great question. Like I would say, this one had a lot of charge for most people. Like energetically, I can perceive that charge. And so if you were to play with this question for a few days and keep writing whatever comes up for you, that will kind of open up things for you. Refusing to receive from particular set of people, especially family members, because of past bitter experience. Refusing to be vulnerable. Okay, good ones. So everything, all those things that are coming up, if you look at it, those are just points of views that you have, right? And all these points of views you can release on it. You can release my using my energetic release, if you have those energetic release recordings with you, or else do use whatever tools that you have. Okay, the next one is, who or what are you avoiding, that if you were to stop avoiding it, would exponentialize your receiving? So who or what are you avoiding? Okay, refusing to be rejected, that's a really good one. Refusing to receive money and gifts, okay. Not in your best interest, right? So who or what are you avoiding, that if you were to stop avoiding it, would exponentialize your receiving? Okay. So now it's a slightly different question, it's a different energy. So who or what are you avoiding? Who or what are you avoiding, that if you were to stop avoiding it, would exponentialize your receiving? So as I'm kind of saying this question, some people are popping up in my awareness, right? And what I realize is that I have a little bit of angst with these people, right? So when you have angst with someone, this energy of upset, this energy of angst is also what is going to cut off your receiving. Okay, so avoiding to be famous, okay, good one. So who or what are you avoiding, that if you were to stop avoiding it, would exponentialize your receiving? So, who or what are you avoiding, that if you were to stop avoiding it, would exponentialize your receiving? Okay, guys, do you want to know what next week's topic is? And it's a really, really, really juicy topic. Okay, who wants to know what next week's topic is? If you would like to know what next week's topic is, then just let me know in the comments. And I'm kind of teasing you. Refusing to be approachable. Okay, that's a good one. Now, we've gone on to the next question, which is, who or what are you avoiding, that if you were to stop avoiding it, would exponentialize your receiving? Okay, and let me know if you guys want to know what next week's topic is, and it's really, really, really juicy. Okay, so uh, I avoid people who ask about me and my career and my personal life. I feel angry when they point out what I don't have and what I can't do. Okay, okay. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, so is that avoidance stopping your receiving? Is that avoidance stopping your receiving? Right? Okay. Okay. Let me know if you would like to know next week's topic. Let me know in the comments and I'll tell you what the topic is. Okay. So, who or what are you avoiding to be or do, that if you were to stop avoiding being or doing it, would exponentialize your receiving? Okay. And let's release on that. So avoid ease, avoid relatives, avoid family. Okay. Okay. So next week's topic is, are you uninviting money? So, how many of you would like to have that topic? Are you uninviting money? Avoiding to come in front of people and introduce myself for the services I can offer. Okay, good one. Avoiding to come in front of people and introduce myself for the services I can offer. How many of you avoid that? How many of you actually avoid talking about your business, your services, and all of that? Avoid expensive stuff. Okay. And do you think that this avoidance is actually stopping your receiving? So how many of you like next week's topic? Are you uninviting money? How many of you like next week's topic? Let me know in the comments. Okay. So, all right. So, refusing, avoiding. Okay. The next thing, let's go on, which is, what have you decided that you cannot have? What have you decided that you cannot have? Okay. So, when you decide that you cannot have something, can you receive it? So, what have you decided that you cannot have? Keep writing. Let me know in the comments. What have you decided that you cannot have? So, if you have decided that you cannot have something, can you actually have it? Okay. So, all of that, let's release on that. So, someone says a successful career, right? Um, I feel inferior about myself, my product or service to be introduced in front of people. Uh, 3 million euro house in Monaco. I saw it on a property listing and I can't stop thinking about it. So much charge around it, right? So, what have you decided that you cannot have? Okay. So, all of that start releasing on that. Okay. What have you decided that you cannot have? Okay. So, all of that, let's release on that. See, the thing is that your points of view, your thoughts create your reality. Like, have you heard that saying which says thoughts become things, right? So, if you have decided that you cannot have something, can you have it? But, at the same time, you keep asking for it, but you have decided that you cannot have it. And so you can't have it. So everything that you have decided that you cannot have, and you keep asking for it, and then that keeps justifying that, oh my God, I'm asking and not getting it, and it's proving that. Let's release on that. Okay, the next one. What have you decided that you cannot be? So, what have you decided that you cannot be? So, if you have decided that you cannot be something, then can you receive being that? Okay, so again, let me know what have you decided that you cannot be. So all of that, let's release on that. So I cannot be royalty, but at the same time, you're refusing to be a princess. Can you see the conflictual universe in that? I cannot be me. Yeah, I cannot be me. So how many of you have decided that you cannot be you, right? So all of that, let's release on that. So cannot be a thief, cannot be a cheater. So even if you get things like this, I would recommend that you release on all this. Okay, because if you have a really strong point of view that I cannot be a thief, I cannot be a cheater, I cannot be a murderer, or all of that, those are again strong points of views, and those are actually going to cut off your receiving. Okay, I cannot be in a healthy, loving relationship. Isn't it amazing? When you start asking these questions, they will really start to uncover a lot of, you know, uh, patterns and beliefs that you have, which are somewhere, deep down in your unconscious, your subconscious. And the good news is that once you know that you have these points of views, these patterns, these beliefs, you can actually release on all that. So what have you decided that you cannot be? So all of that, let's release on it. Okay. So what have you decided that you cannot do? What have you decided that you cannot do? Let me know in the comments. What have you decided that you cannot do? So, again, wherever you have a decision that you cannot do something, um, cannot be infinite. Okay, good one. What have you decided that you cannot do? So, when you have that, what happens is that again, it's going to cut off your receiving. So, cannot be idle, cannot be infinite. So, what have you decided that you cannot do? So, all of that, let's release on that. So, when you can be or do anything and everything, it doesn't mean that you're actually going to do that. Okay, it just means that you don't have any strong points of views, and then you can take any point of view, you can drop any point of view. Cannot be a successful therapist, cannot be a successful business person, cannot do everything on your own. Okay, that's a good one. So, all of that, let's release on that. Okay, so what have you decided that you cannot create? What have you decided that you cannot create? Let me know in the comments. What have you decided that you cannot create? So, everything that you have decided you cannot create, let's release on that. So, cannot create harmony and peace. Okay, good one. So, what have you decided that you cannot create? Money from business. Okay, another good one. So, when you have a point of view that you cannot create money from business, then are you going to actually create it? No. If you have decided that you cannot create sales, then you cannot. If you have decided that you cannot have thousands of listeners and followers, then you will not be able to create any of that. Okay. So, all of that, let's release on that. By the way, how many of you have actually watched my 12 money saboteurs, the free call that I did last week? Yeah. If you haven't watched it, you should go and watch it. It's going to just blow your mind. And how many of you were actually there on that call, and what opened up for you? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to watch that, let me know as well, and then I will send you the link. Okay. So now, what have you decided that you cannot create? Okay, let's release on that. Pepper, what were the shocking revelations for you? Let me know. Share what really shook you on the call. I'd love to know. Okay, the next one. What have you decided that you cannot actualize? What have you decided that you cannot actualize? So, what have you decided that you cannot actualize? Let me know in the comments. What have you decided that you cannot actualize? And all of that, let's release on that. So what have you decided that you cannot actualize? Let's release on that. So what have you decided that you cannot actualize? Okay. So how's that like have these questions opened up things for you? Who is sitting here having those aha moments, right? Okay. Now, what would receiving everything be like? What would receiving everything be like? What would receiving everything be like? No, it's not just a yes or no answer. It's like what would receiving everything be like? So when you think about that, is it open and expansive, or is it contracting or overwhelming? Okay. So what would receiving everything be like? So all of that, let's release on that. So everyone who is feeling contracted, then let's release on that. So what would receiving everything be like? uh, लाइफ में कुछ भी नहीं बचा. Okay. So what does receiving everything be, what would receiving everything be like? So all of that, let's release on that. Like, what I would really recommend to you guys is that, after this Facebook Live is over, just scroll through and look through the comments that you have actually written, and not just your own comments, but also, comments that other people have written. So it's usually an answer to the question, what have you decided you cannot have, you cannot be, you cannot do, you cannot create, you cannot actualize. What are you refusing to be, what are you avoiding being? It's in response to all that. And then whatever your responses are, those are just points of views, right? So you can actually take those points of views and you can clear those points of views. You can release on those points of views. It's really easy, right? Okay. So we need a fight or challenge always. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So even that is a point of view. Okay. I need a fight, I need a challenge, so you can release on all that. Okay. So what would receiving everything be like? Let's release on all that. And then, if you guys did you watch last week's Facebook Live that I did? And it was all about judgments, right? So now the thing is, what would receiving judgments be like? What would receiving judgments be like? And are you willing to receive judgments? Because one aspect of receiving is also to receive judgment. So judgment doesn't mean that you get impelled by judgment, but receiving judgment means that you just look at judgment with no point of view. So what would receiving judgment be like? So all of that, let's release on that. Because one of the things with not receiving judgment is that it actually cuts off your receiving. Because if you avoid judgments, then you cut off your receiving. Okay, so what would receiving judgments be like? So all of that, let's release on that. So if you are finding receiving judgment as heavy, then I would highly recommend that you listen to last week's show, and it's all about judgments. And listen to that show many times, like. And don't listen to the show like many times during one day. Like, listen to it every day for the next 30 days. Okay, so then for you, this is the thing. What would receiving judgment be like? Or another question to ask is, what does receiving judgment mean to you? And let's release on that. So what does receiving judgment mean to you? So what does receiving judgment mean to you? So, all this yawning is because of all the energetic shift that is occurring. Um, Someone paying attention to me, and I'm important. Okay. So here's the thing. Every time I ask the question, and whatever comes up for you, you can write it down, but keep asking the question till, you no longer get any response. Okay, because these are all the points of views that you have around what does receiving judgment mean to you. I'm going to use it one last time and then release on it, then we'll go on to the next one. So what does receiving judgment mean to you? The next one, what would receiving awareness be like? So even about receiving awareness, people cut off their receiving about awareness. Okay, so for example, if you become aware of um, like for example, this is like something that I used to have, that I would be able to kind of see people, and uh, um, I would be able to see people, and sometimes, if someone was sick, I would know that they were not going to survive. And so that was really, it used to really, really, really freak me out, because I used to think that maybe I did something and they passed away or something like that, until I realized that I was just aware of it. Like today, I asked a question on my Facebook wall saying that, um, uh, you know, uh, what you call, have you ever received a message through your dreams? And someone wrote that she, in 2012, she saw the virus, and so that kind of awareness. Okay, so awareness is not always awareness of cool funky things. It can also be these kind of awarenesses, awareness of things, of earthquake or something like that, awareness of a pandemic. It could be awareness of something else, right? And so what would receiving awareness be like? And so what we do is we cut off our receiving. So all of that, let's release on that. So what does receiving awareness mean to you? So this one actually has even more charge than receiving judgment. So I think a lot of you guys should be doing this a lot and releasing on this. Okay. We have just a few more minutes left, and I have some more stuff. So I'm going to just do it once, but you can kind of rewind and listen to this portion again and again. Okay. So everything within you and outside of you that keeps you from being that which can receive. Let's release on that. So being killed and punished for knowing the truth. So all this is coming from other lifetimes, when you were either killed or punished. And so just release on all this, and then keep moving. Okay, so everything within you and outside of you that keeps you from being that which can receive. So let's release on that once again. Then who or what do you have to be to receive exponentially? So everything that doesn't allow that, let's release on that. So, who or what um, do you have to be in order to receive exponentially? So, let's release on that. Then, who or what are you unwilling to be that if you were to be it, would exponentialize your receiving off the charts of this reality? Let's release on that. So, who or what are you unwilling to be that if you were to be it, would exponentialize your receiving off the charts of this reality? So, who or what are you unwilling to be that if you were to be it, would exponentialize your receiving off the charts of this reality? Okay, so I'm going to do one clearing again. So, what does receiving awareness mean to you? So, how many of you would like to get the cheat sheet with all these questions? So, if you would like to get the questions, just type in questions in the comments and I will send it to you. Okay, just type in questions in the comments. Okay, now from starting from October 7th, I'm also doing a money transformation group coaching program, and it's all about receiving money. So, if you'd like to know more about it, let me know. Write money transformation in the comments below, and I'll tell you all about it. And remember, next time we are going to talk about, are you uninviting money? Are you uninviting money? See, don't just say yes, me, I won't understand what you mean. If you type questions, then I know that you want questions, and then I will send it to you. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for being live. And I will see you next week when we are going to talk about uninviting money. Are you uninviting money? So, see you next time. Bye.